I saw that it was like mastered by a Grammy Award winner who both worked on like Shakira and Rush. And after I read that, I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like it's like all the worlds combining.
Like going back to all those influences, like it's all about that creation of music that generates a feeling. And we try not to just get stuck with one particular thing. So that's why we bring all these influences, especially modern influences, while keeping our roots alive.
Today on the show, we are joined with the Empanadas Ilegales. And by God, they made some of my favorite music that I've listened to this year. They got a brand new album that I have a lot of trouble pronouncing. Sancocho Trifásico. That was probably wrong, but you're going to hear them say it during this interview. But beyond pronunciation, we get into the topic in this chat as how they really strive to invoke feelings through their music. Playing live, they call it the Beetlejuice Effect. People losing control of their bodies. And you'll understand if you click on one of their albums. It definitely has that effect. And you're going to hear how that all came to be. And also the layers of their names and album titles. We get a history lesson of a time when empanadas were actually illegal. That and so much more. So let's get into it.
All right, so I guess I'll just jump into it. Ola sent me the new record, and I can't say enough. It's one of the coolest sounding things I've listened to this year. It's just so different and cinematic, and I can use so many different words for it, but just not being familiar with you guys prior, like how did this project come together and how did you guys meet and make this awesome music?
Awesome. So I guess we come together we all met in university back in 2015, 2016. And originally it was actually Daniel Ruiz wasn't with us from the beginning, sadly. But we were just doing all of these jam parties and like little events from a place that was called La Casa del Ritmo. What it would be essentially, it was our group of friends from university, Emily Carr, UBC, like all the arounds. We would bring a bunch of instruments to a house, and instead of having like just like top 40s music playing, we would have all of us just playing, jamming, and then people would come in and out constantly. And then at some point, we were playing mainly blues, rock, like classic, just improvisations on those type of lines, surf rock. We aspired for jazz, but we weren't ever really there. And then we ended up being like, hey guys, like we were constantly the same four core group that were just like playing and playing and playing. Like, let's get more serious about it. Let's get back to our roots and let's get a studio and let's start making our own music. And so then we got a studio, we started playing cumbia, and we recorded our first album. And then time passed by, we kept on playing and playing, and we were doing little gigs here and there, house parties, some festivals, super small, just wanting to, for the love of music. And then we had the honor of meeting Daniel Ruiz along the lines, which of course we instantly realized what an amazing drummer he is. And due to some health issues from our original drummer called Alonso Benavente, he had to step down, and we had almost, I would say, a magical night together on Halloween like 3 years ago, or maybe even more by now, where Ruiz took over and essentially saved the night, and it was all serendipitous. And ever since then, we've been moving forwards with Ruiz, and of course, with his expertise in music and knowledge and experience, I guess we've just kept on moving. Like the goal has been to never stop, and there's a great chemistry between all of us. So now the core band is composed by Daniel Ruiz, Daniel Hernandez, Ricardo Perez, and Jaime Millan. And then we have Andrea Milagros in the maracas and Jocelyn Wa on the trumpet. And that's kind of like the dream team right now.
That's
Composing,
super.
writing, recording.
Yeah, that's super cool. And just as you were explaining it, I was just getting the vibe. It just seemed like a natural progression, you know? It started out as a jam, basically. And it's interesting that there's like when I listen to it, like I hear so many different genres. And would you say like everybody's kind of bringing their own influence of what they do and turning it into this melding pot, or is it more like calculated? Is there like a leader being like, I want to go this way, or
I think it's definitely everybody brings their flavor, their color. One of the cool things about us is like, yeah, we wanted to focus on cumbia, and then we started playing salsa as well because we always loved salsa, but we couldn't really play salsa because it's a little bit harder.
hmm
And and then now we're trying to discover our own sound. So we have many ways where ideas come to table. Like sometimes, I don't know, Ruiz would come up with an amazing beat, and then people would start adding to it, and then we would come up with ideas. And then for this album, a good example is Ruiz also implemented some synths. Generally, what we did is through pedals and guitars. I do a lot of the effects for the that make it sound a little synthy. But now we're starting to incorporate more elements as well, like flutes, like gaitas, like synths, like other percussive elements that bring our sound out. And it's very explorative, I'd say, like since the beginning, like as I told you, like roots between blues and rock and surf, like loving jazz, loving salsa, but then also wanting to be like stick to our Latin roots in cumbia. And everybody brings their own color, you know? And it kind of merges together into el Sancocho Trifásico that it is nowadays. And the beauty of it is how we've developed our own sound through kind of putting all of us together. Like the band is the core, and we all are empanadas ilegales together.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that sounds like really, really cool. And even as I listen to it, like I'm just totally vibing with it. I think I used the word cinematic when I opened this interview, and we do
Mhm.
interviews with like a lot of filmmakers, and I almost like from listening to the last couple albums, I want to share this music with filmmakers and stuff. Do you guys ever like aspire to like kind of like branch out in like maybe put your songs in like a project, like a TV show or a film or something?
Oh, definitely. That's something we would love to do. Yeah, like going back to all those influences, like it's all about that creation of music that generates a feeling. And we try not to just get stuck with one particular thing. So that's why we bring all these influences, especially modern influences, while keeping our roots alive. So yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because for me, the second song of the album, Mano Peluda, I mean, for me, it sounds like the intro of a TV show like White Lotus or something like that.
I was thinking
Because
like
it's like,
something similar when I was listening to that same track too. I was like, this is kind of epic, you know?
yeah, yeah. And I mean, the making of that song was like very unique and amazing because it started with little ideas and we started layering and layering. And I remember when I sent the track to the mixing engineer, he was like, dude, what? You sent me 97 tracks? I'm like, yeah, they're all important. And then he listened to it and he's like, you're right, they're all important. It's gonna be a
Oh.
lot of work, but it's gonna work and it did. I'm really in love with that tune and that whole cinematic feel, like the whole essence for our music is like to create that space for people to really like let themselves loose in the dance floor and forget about their worries. So like when we can generate that kind of feeling and even a cinematic feel or some sort of emotion, that's like what we strive for. And we try to do it mostly with instrumental music because I mean we have this whole notion of music being so universal, like it just doesn't matter what language you speak as
hmm
long as you hear it and feel it, like that's like the same emotion that will be generated no matter where you're from or what language you speak, right?
hmm
So yeah, thank you for that. That's like definitely something that we would love to incorporate because like the more we can share the music with the most amount of people the better, right? So if we can have mediums like TV or movies to help, transmit that, by all means we'll be
hmm
Yeah,
happy.
music
Yeah.
design for the dance floor, we call it all the time.
Yeah, I love it. And even you got like a album called Creepy Mambo. It's I don't know, it's just such like a unique cool vibe to it too, where it's like
Totally.
you're dancing, but there's like a bit of like psych and darkness to it as well. Like it's just so different. And I think it's even as I was like reading your press release to I saw that it was like mastered by a Grammy Award winner who both worked on like Shakira and Rush. And after I read that, I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like it's like all the worlds combining and shit.
Totally,
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
Which is also what we
yeah,
kind of do a lot, right? Like why we've always, as Danny was saying, like wanted to be part of the film industry as well, like in scoring and things like that. Because we're trying to create these emotions, we're trying to create these sounds that are like coming from everywhere. Like it's not
Hmm.
only cumbia, it's not only salsa, it's like a lot of feeling, a lot of surf, a lot of jazz, a lot of free, like so many things involved in one that it ends up being empanadas ilegales.
Yeah, yeah. Another cool thing that really stood out to me too is the album artwork. Just looking at it, it's I think if I just found this album like randomly like on a shelf, I would think it was like from the 70s or something, you know? So yeah, I kind of want to know like a bit about just like the concept of bringing that together or maybe a little bit about the artist.
yeah, for sure. I can speak to that. So the artist is actually our bass player Danny Hernandez's cousin. He lives in Barcelona, Spain, and he also made the cover of the other two albums. So for this album, we got together with him and kind of like gave him a bit of a concept of what the album is all about. And I mean, it comes from this name, Sancocho Trifásico. Sancocho is a stew or like a soup that is very popular in Colombia and I mean in other
Mm.
parts of Latin America. And it's just like a whole whack of ingredients. So then you have like potato, yuca, rice, avocado, and then
Different types of meat. Yeah.
yeah, the trifásico means there's three kinds of meat on it. So we use that as a
Mm.
reference to the way we recorded the album. We did it in three different sessions, three different studios. So it's like, oh, it's also trifásic, but then it's also a bunch of ingredients that we brought into this mix of a soup.
Oh.
So then when we brought that to the artist, we're like, it's a soup. It's like just make a. We thought of like a big collage of all these different like characters. Like for example, in the songs we have once again Mano Peluda. That is a reference to a children's tale of like a scary tale. Like
Mm.
if you don't go to sleep, la mano peluda or the hairy hand is gonna come grab you. Like you gotta behave, right? So like these kind of like references to like Latin American culture are thrown into this soup, right? So then we gave him kind of like a freeway. It was like, okay, use as many elements as you want. And then he came up with this, and we're just like, oh my God, this is so amazing and so perfect because like there's all these little details within the art that you can kind of find, oh, this is reference to that song or this one is reference to this song, and it has this like feeling of chaos, but it's also kind of like organized and the whole
Organized
soup
chaos.
stew thing. Yeah.
I love
100%.
it. Yeah, that's so cool because even like looking at it, I'm like, I love this, but you just explaining it, it gave me extra layers of appreciation too. And
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
even
and
with the title, like I didn't know what it meant or anything, so that's so
Hmm.
cool.
yeah, no, and you can also like if you compare it to the other album covers as well, you can tell how his hand is there. And something super interesting about this one is that he's a multimedia artist, right? So we've generally worked a lot around the things of collages. So he
Mm.
used to find old magazines, old newspapers, or things from back in the day, the 60s and the 70s, or contemporary as well. And then this one was something different because it was both a little bit of a collage art, but it was a lot of his own handmade drawn things as well and painted and
Hmm.
things. So it added all of this dimension of like different things with like tropical leaves coming in from a collage, but then a crazy drawing of a I don't know like a chacmol, which is that that entity from in the lower corner of the album as well. And then
Hmm.
yeah, like all the idea of the sancocho that is like it's just everything revolved in one place with all of these ideas, all of these colors, flavors, notes, sounds, and it just everything kind of seems to fit in perfectly well.
Yeah, that's so cool. And as you're explaining it, just like you can't see on my screen, I have like your Spotify open, so I'm looking at all the album covers and it's so cool. Like it just has such a retro look to it, but also like has a feeling like of authenticity that he's like almost this artist from the 70s or something, you
Yeah,
know?
like
It's
Hmm.
for me, it feels like his art almost evolves with the music. Like our sound
yeah.
has been evolving since our first album so much, and like every new year that we come up with a new album, is like the art comes with it as well, evolving, growing, like developing, like showing how much more powerful the sound is.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
cool to hear that. And yeah, even talking about soup makes me hungry. And also your band name makes me hungry. There's a great bakery across the street from me that I'm definitely going to right after this interview, and they have a bunch of empanadas and different flavors
Yes,
and stuff like that too. So
yes.
how does that like incorporate in the music? You guys seem like you have like a meaning behind anything. Is there a meaning behind the title or
Well, first of all, we do sell empanadas on all of our shows as
amazing?
kind of like an inside joke. So everybody, when you come to the Empanadas Ilegales show, there will be empanadas there. We've been doing it for multiple years now, and
Amazing.
it's been amazing. I guess there's two different points of view from where the name actually came from. One being we're all from different areas in Latin America, right? We're from Colombia, Ecuador, Argentina. Some have some roots in Peru. Our saxophone player used that he records on all of our albums is from Brazil, and every single culture in Latin America has their own type of empanada, right? So it's like, okay, like that's something that puts us all together. I have the Ecuadorian empanada, Daniel Ruiz has the Colombian empanada, Jaime Millan has the Argentinian empanada, you know? And so that was kind of one thing that brought us to this idea. And through that conversation, we had this, I guess, this story came up from Danny Hernandez, the bass player, where he's like, yeah, man, like I read this thing from Colombia that back in the day, the president essentially passed a law that made like street vendors illegal. And there's this famous lady that came out on the news channel saying like, "Oh, I don't care. They pass all of the laws. I'm gonna sell my empanadas. I'm still gonna put my stand and I'm gonna sell them." So there's literally a period of time in Colombia where empanadas are illegal, and
That's
that's
so cool.
where illegal empanadas come out from, right? And it's like, yeah, it just makes total sense. And we're not really thinking of anything more than just having fun and playing music and just like
Hmm.
feeling our gut, you know. And once Ruiz gets to the core, we're like, we just want to do this even more. We have so many opportunities. We can expand in so many different ways. We can explore so many different sound escapes and sound avenues. And it just makes sense. And it's like something that Daniel Ruiz actually says all the time. Is like, we're all empanadas. We just all have different feelings, right? Which is
Mm,
kind of
Yeah.
an interesting idea.
And
yeah,
there's like also the international empanadas, right? Like you go to Ukraine and then there's the pierogi, and that's an empanada, or
Empanada.
like the
mm,
dumpling in China or gyoza, you
Gyoza.
know, like that's an empanada. So I always kind of like try to make that reference for everybody because we do have a very multicultural audience, and it's just like to bring inclusion for people. It's like we're all empanadas. It's just like our insights are a little different, but we can
I,
all relate, you know?
yeah, yeah, I love it. And that's cool to hear like a bit of that history lesson too. I didn't know that. That's
Oh,
so
it was
crazy,
so
the legal
funny. Like,
vendors.
yeah, this lady, like, she literally made a sign. It was like, illegal empanadas, come get them. And she suddenly was like, arrest me. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
She's like
yeah.
all over the cops, you know, like I'm not stopping this. Like I don't care.
That
It's
lady's a
awesome.
fucking gangster. That's
And it's
awesome.
just like it's meant to be, you know, like this it makes total sense. Like you have to. Empanadas
Mhm.
Ilegales have to be viralized now.
Yeah. And do you guys have like a personal favorite kind? I know across the street there they got like a pulled pork one I really like. But well, what about you guys?
My favorite empanada personally is obviously from Ecuador. It's called empanada de morocho, and a morocho is a type of grain that
Okay.
creates the dough of it. It's like a white grain that makes this super delicious dough, and the inside has like a meat with like a I don't know, a refried. I don't know how to say, like a mix of veggies inside. and then you put this thing called ají that is like this spicy sauce, but it's like very individual to every family or every person or every table. Like every single table that you're gonna sit at is gonna have their own version of ají. Some are spicy, some are not that spicy, some have this, some have the other. That with lime as well, that's the best empanada.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds nice. What about you,
Definitely
Daniel?
getting hungry. Ooh, that's such a good question. There's
All of
one.
them.
Yeah, I love them all. There's so many different kinds, but there's one in particular that I like from Colombia. They're called empanadas pipián, and it's like it's a small empanada. It's very crunchy, um, and yeah, it's just like very simple but very satisfying, and it's kind of like a cocktail empanada, and then you just like eat them
Mm.
nonstop. They're so good, and also the ají, like that is crucial for a good empanada.
Yeah, cool, cool. Well, it sounds like also like the live experience is just such a good party. Even if somebody's like not familiar with the music, you can just take them out. It's like, hey, we're gonna eat, we're gonna dance, you know, it's just like even just beyond like just the music, which I think I don't know, that's I feel like a lot of different bands aren't doing that, you know? Like it's like you're kind of like bringing an atmosphere beyond the music itself, which I really, really appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the key. Like also to kind of like take over on people in the sense of like, I call it the Beetlejuice effect. You know, that
Mm.
scene where Harry Belafonte starts playing and they're all like possessed by music and then they're like dancing, like, why am I dancing like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it happens at our
That's the one.
shows with people that, you can tell it's like I have this memory once, like very gorgeous couple. She's a Latina. He's like this, Caucasian, tall, white guy. She obviously right away starts dancing, like, oh my God, yeah, Latin music. And he's like stiff, like, I don't know what to do. But
Hmm.
then throughout the show, I can see him just like getting the Beetlejuice effect
He's
and
getting
he's
the
like
sway, and then next thing you know, he's
starting to
putting some
move.
feet.
Yeah, and next thing you know, he's just like jumping up and down, spinning her around, being like, I'm carefree. So like that's usually what we strive for, and it's really fun to see, especially people that are not really that familiar with Latin music.
Hmm.
Because yeah, I think also the element of our sound bringing a bit more modern take on things, it kind of like appeals a bit to like a modern palette. So it's not like, oh, this is like Latin music that I hear all the time and it's kind of like the standardized thing. No, this is different. And I'm feeling possessed by the music and I don't even know how to
I don't
dance,
know what
but
my
I'm
legs are
dancing.
doing.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool that you explained it that way too, because even I was watching some live videos of you guys, and it is such a vibe. And I even like imagined if like a stranger were to come across this at like a festival, it like might at first like be a little bit of background music, and then after a moment they just start turning their heads like, what the fuck is this? Is
It
fantastic. And
happens
yeah.
Yeah.
every single
Yeah.
time, no matter what. Like there like even like nobody generally knows what to expect, right? You hear psychedelic salsa and cumbia, and even the Latinos are like, what? So like you never know what's happening, and then all of a sudden, boom, it hits you in the face, and like literally, you almost can tell how people's bodies react before their mind doing it. Like, wow, this thing vibes. This thing
Hmm.
is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
music designed for the dance floor. It's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, especially with the blending of genres and stuff. I was listening to an interview yesterday with Darren from System of a Down, and he said so many
Wow.
interviewers like ask him questions about like musical decisions where it's just like, oh, why'd you do this? It's like abrupt or whatever. And he's just said, and they're like, oh, that's kind of weird. And he's like, well, it might be weird to you, but this is just what came out of me. And it's this like, they'll
Yeah.
try to like break it down. Oh,
Genuine.
that doesn't really make sense together. But he's like, well, I did it, and this song like sold millions or whatever. So like, I guess it does make. I don't know. Do you feel like sometimes like when you're being interviewed or like people trying to talk about your music, they're kind of I don't know, just trying to make sense of all the blending, but because it seems like it's just like a natural process for you guys.
Yeah, like that's I was just gonna say, like I think the main thing for all of us has always been like just stay true, like stay
Hmm.
true to our sound, stay true to what we like. Like we're never really trying to emulate anything because we see it sells or it doesn't sell. We've never done that, and I don't think none of us will ever will. Like we're just enjoying. We genuinely love music, and that's our goal.
Hmm.
And personally, in terms of like questions for in interviews and things like that, is yeah, it's like what you just said, right? Like it's like it hits. Like if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, honestly, it also doesn't matter. Like we're still just playing whatever we feel we want to play, and if we're vibing to it, someone else is gonna vibe to it. If someone doesn't, like we also invite them to like we respect that.
Hmm.
It's perfectly fine, and there's
Hmm.
no problem around that.
Yeah, that's
But it
Yeah,
is something that comes out of the heart, and it is almost never something that we're trying to like emulate from something we've heard before. Many times it is, but it is out of also that passion of that sound specifically, which makes it
yeah.
yeah.
real. So keep real
We yeah
is
we let guide ourselves from feel a lot of times, especially when we write. Like we don't try to like be like, oh, this is like the formula thing, or this is what's supposed to happen here. Like we just let it flow, and then what feels right is like, yeah, that's the thing. And it's like kind of like without compromise. That's the main thing. Like
Mm.
as long as we feel it, I think that projects to the people that listen to it, right? Like for me, as an example, when I put myself in the listening position and I go to a show, it doesn't matter.
oh, he
Oh,
froze.
yeah, cut out there. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could
Yeah.
fill in what he was saying.
Yeah, I know. I was hanging on to
You
it.
froze, Danny. Come back. Are you there?
I
Oh,
think he's
did I
back.
cut out?
Yeah, you cut out when you go to a show as an
Sorry.
expectation.
Just like when I go and see a show, it doesn't matter um, what genre it is. Like for me, the main thing that I can tell is like the genuinity and the like how earnest they are with their music and how they want to share it. So like you can tell, and I think most people can tell that too. So like if you feel how earnest it is, like even in a genre of music that you're not really familiar with, you can really tell that this is genuine, and that's like the main thing that I always try to like portray and emphasize when I play music. It's like it's coming from my soul and
Hmm.
not from some like
Wanna
conceptual
be
thing that I have as like this is supposed to be like this because this is the formulaic thing that people are supposed to like. But it's like no, like how does it feel for me? And when I do it with an earnest intent, it just like really gets received the
Hmm.
way it should be.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like there's a lot of power to projecting that type of energy as well. Just even myself, I'm not like well versed in like the salsa like genre and stuff like that. And I listen to this and it's just like there's something about it like that got me connected to it too. And definitely this wasn't a one-time listen. I'm gonna be giving it lots of spins. And next time you guys are like in the Toronto area, I'm definitely gonna see you live. And
Awesome.
I guess like as a final question, we get like a lot of creators like listening to these segments as well. And would you have any advice for maybe a newer musician who has all these ambitious ideas and they're trying to bring them to life?
I think first and foremost, stay true to what you want to convey, um, and also be patient. And practice does not make perfect because perfection does not exist.
Mm,
Practice makes permanent.
mm,
So if you practice things with like intent and dedication and like actual like focus on what you're doing, you're gonna get really good at that. So like it's a fine line because you can practice things without these mindsets of like, okay, I'm gonna practice methodically like this. You might, learn the guitar to play it with your hands backwards, right? But then if you practice like that, you're gonna get really good at it.
mm,
So it's like that's why practice makes permanent, like building those blocks one day at a time and being kind to yourself, patient will go a long way, like the turtle method, go slow but steady instead of like trying to run to get to that thing where you miss the process because the
mm.
process is the most beautiful part,
Yeah, so well
not the
said.
result.
Yeah, I also like your quote right there. Perfection does not exist. That's
Yeah.
I'm always writing quotes every day. That's one I'm gonna put in my notepad right now. It's so good, almost like freeing too. Just kind of
Hmm.
puts you in a mental state when you like sometimes you're hitting a wall and it like obviously you want your work to be the best it can be, but it's just we're all like just human, just floating around and stuff, and sometimes just
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just like that's super cool to hear. And what about you,
Yeah.
Ricardo? Would you have any like advice for a newer musician trying to make a big idea happen or anything like
Um,
that?
I would say I would go back to a little bit of what I was talking previously, and it's just that be real scenario.
Hmm.
For me specifically, the way that I got into music is always been passion. Like when I was a kid, I used to have I guess I still do have. I was diagnosed with ADHD since I'm like 10 years old, right? And I've always been these like hurricane rockers all over the place, and my voice has overtaken over the like teachers and stuff. And
Hmm.
we discovered that the only thing that calmed me down was when we did work in the class, and they let me use my headphones
Oh,
because I
cool.
can listen to music and calm down and just focus, like almost
Mhm.
like immediately just be able to focus on anything. And then music has been very important in my life, but like I never really thought of it as a career. I thought it more as a mode of expression. So I started playing the guitar, I started jamming, I started learning songs, and just what like Daniel Ruiz was saying, like practicing, 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 to the point where I can find my sound, where I can feel comfortable with what I'm doing, with liking what I'm doing, and exploring, like exploring with pedals, exploring with loopers, with like all of these different things that you have available to you. Doesn't matter what it is, you can play around with anything,
Hmm.
and then just stay true to yourself because that's what brought us here. Like we were just jamming, we were just following our ears, listening to what everybody had to say with their instrument, and not judging. It's like, oh, you don't have to be perfect. Not striving for like, oh, this guy is graduated from like the conservatory, or this or that. It's like everybody has the capacity of being a musician if that's what they want. So just like pursue it and go for it, and like don't let anybody tell you that your sound is not your sound because some people might not like it, but other people might love it. And you, at the end of the
Hmm.
line, you're not doing it for other people; you're doing it for yourself. And as long as you're able to stay true to that, everything should be successful for anybody who tries to come and get into music.
Well said.
And
Thank you guys for
be
that.
kind to yourself.
Hmm.
That's the
Be
main thing
kind,
too.
100%.
Yeah, that's going to be the moral of the interview for anybody listening. You
You're always
will,
gonna see a better guitar player, a better drummer, a better, it's always you're gonna be like fucking, you're gonna bring yourself down. Like be kind to yourself and like know that everything's possible. And
hmm.
you're always everybody's amazing.
Yeah, all facts. And yeah, it was so great to meet you guys today. I thoroughly
Likewise.
enjoyed this talk, and I'm a new fan, and I can't wait to see you live someday.
Same. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for having
Thanks,
us. We're
buddy. Thank
super
you for having
fun,
us.
open interview. So it was really nice to have this chat with you as
Yeah,
well.
you guys are welcome back anytime, maybe around your next project or if you got anything else going on. But yeah, the invite's open. But
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
on
you.
that note, hope you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you down the road.
Same. Enjoy
Sounds
your
good. Thank you so
empanadas.
much.
Take care.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoy.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Hope you enjoyed that talk with the Empanadas Ilegales. Cool fucking guys and gals who make cool fucking music. Again, if this is your first time hearing about them, I can't say enough to go check out their albums. The latest one is just so epic. And I'm not just saying that because they're a guest on the show. We recorded this episode a month ago, and I have been listening to it so much since. It's been on my rotation. So thanks to them for the incredible music. And as we're saying thank yous, we can't run away without thanking all you legends on the Patreon page. First, the biggest thanks to the queen, Ola Mazuka of Sonic Fold. Also, fun fact, around being a DJ, a community builder, and so much more, Ola is actually a publicist who hooked us up with this interview today. So I have her to thank for this new music, and you do too. Thanks for all the years of support, Ola. Another huge thanks to the lovely Amanda McKnight of the Vamp X13 YouTube channel and the Vamp X13 Twitch channel. If you're into comic books, movies, video games, and all things nerdy, check out Vamp X13. Another huge thanks to the wonderful Jenny Potter, the #1 gent Alan Kent, and last but not least, Francis Coffer, aka my mom. If you want to thank you at the end of the show and also get these episodes early, raw, uncut, right when I've done the Zoom call, I just post them. You can go to patreon.com/the creative imbalance. It's only $3 a month, and beyond having my forever thanks, you can just go to bed at night and sleep soundly, knowing you're a badass motherfucker who supports raw, uncut, independent media. And nobody can take that away from you. You hear me? With that being said, we got so many episodes along the way. Also, if you're listening to the audio version, you should check out our YouTube channel. We were at the Toronto International Film Festival, and we captured a bunch of exclusive interviews you'll only hear there. They're a little shorter length, so I didn't put them as a podcast, but absolutely awesome shit. So go check that out. Appreciate you guys listening and checking out the show, and we will catch you next time. Cheers.